Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, Travis. Good morning,
Morning.
Yvette.
Good morning.
How are y'all this morning? Does
What?
everybody have some time management issues that they're needing some help with today?
Always room for improvement.
I concur. I'm just gonna let a few more people in and then it's getting close to that time. So I'll get set up. The note takers always crack me up. I'm like, should I let them in or not? Should I force them to be on the call? AI is a magical thing. Okay. Well, for the sake of everybody's time, I'm going to go ahead and start getting set up and or start doing our little presentation and people can just kind of pop in as we go, which is totally fine. So For those of you who don't know me, welcome to Beyond the Commission. I'm Teresa Rainey. I have been a realtor for 16 years. I flip houses. I have a property management company. I have 5 kids. I'm a little insane most days, and that is exactly why. Oops, I don't know why this won't go back. Go back. Please go back. But anyway, that's exactly why I've had to figure out time management at a very high level for myself. I'll try not to click it because apparently I can't go back once I click it for some reason. But anyway, I have been in the industry for 16 years. Typically, I talk about um, things that are outside of just regular commission. So I talk about all of the other ways that I make money inside of real estate using the same audience that I have from real estate sales, my clients, other agents, and things like that, and all the different ways that you can monetize your audience because we do all have an audience, whether we realize that or not. So I that's what I typically talk about. However, I thought that this was a really good topic to cover because it's definitely in my forte. Okay, I am messing up my screen sharing really bad right now, so I'm going to try this out. Okay, why is it paused? If somebody knows what I did wrong, please tell me. Let's see. I'm just going to hit it again and see what happens. Share. It says it's paused. I've never done that before. How about unpause? Nope. I don't know what I did to make it pause. Does anybody know how to fix that? I've never done that before, or I've never seen it do that before randomly. I assume you can't see. Matt, can you see my screen share anymore?
I just see the love the life you lived. That I don't see your like your desktop or anything. No,
Oh, you can see that.
I can see love the life you lived. This part sucked.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out why it's paused. Like it's on my end, it says it's paused. Okay, here we go. All right, now it's resumed. Okay, it's happy, I suppose. Okay, so yeah. So about in this actually is a picture of something that happened to me in 2016. We had one of the biggest floods in our area. It flooded the majority of our town and neighboring cities. It flooded a good portion of the southern coast. And that day was one of the most difficult days of my life. My husband left and I had 5 kids, and my house was it left with basically water on the bottom floor. And mainly it was because we couldn't agree on how to handle, obviously that wasn't the only thing, but we couldn't agree on how to handle the situation and if we should accept help from a church or anything like that. So that's kind of where my journey began because oh, it's doing it again. Um, because I had to figure things out very quickly for myself. And I will tell you that it was not awesome in the moment because in the moment I had no idea what I was going to do. I had a baby that was about 6 months old and 4 other children that were completely relying on me in the middle of going through a divorce, being very, very unhappy, and having to deal with a house that just flooded. And unfortunately, no insurance to cover it, which is a completely different story because I did actually have flood insurance prior to this. And what happened was that I sent my mother to go and pay for my insurance. And whenever she went to pay for it, she paid for my homeowner's insurance, but she did not pay for my flood insurance. And so it left me in a really bad spot. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to let everyone else into the thing because it's being a little weird today. Okay. So that's whenever I had to really put on my big girl panties and kind of figure it out. Before that, I would say that I was a mediocre real estate agent. I would do a sale or two a month, maybe, and I just wasn't making the living that I really needed to make because of course I had a spouse at the time. I had small children. It wasn't something that was not that I didn't want to do well, but I don't really think I knew what it took at the time to really take my business to that kind of a level. So this was the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge. And I really came to a crossroads at some point, and I was like, okay, am I going to basically succumb to everything that's happening to me and just kind of give up and give in and just like potentially lose my house, potentially, be on, whatever social services I had to be on? Or was I going to put on my big girl panties and get up and figure this shit out? And that's exactly what I did. And so I completely shifted my life. And when I say just completely, I don't look like the same person. I don't sound like the same person. The person who I was before, I could pretty much say does not exist anymore. And I am very proud of who I've become, but I'm also very vocal about what happened to me because I feel like there's a lot of real estate agents out there or just people in general that are kind of stuck in their life and they don't know how to move it forward in a drastic way, kind of like I did. And so I really enjoy talking about it and talking about how life management is kind of how, or time management is how I pulled this off. And so now I am an associate broker in addition to being a realtor. I obviously work for Real Broker, a company that I absolutely love. And I drink the Kool-Aid 1,000% because everybody is so amazing. I do not do on here it says I do 75 houses a year. I don't do that many anymore, thank God, because I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Now I have more people that are helping me with this. I am a realtor. I flip houses. I have a short-term rental management company. I do lead a team of people. I lead many teams of people. And then I also am a mom of 5 kids. I was single for a very long time, managing kids by myself until I now have my lovely spouse that's in the bottom right corner of the screen, who he is a very we like our healthy lifestyle, but he used to do a lot of races and stuff like that. Especially, he's had some medical issues this year, but that is his passion. And so that's our life. We live a very healthy life. We love what we do. And it has just completely turned everything around from where it was before. So I love real estate memes. I like having a sense of humor in everything that we do because God forbid we don't. Like I think it's really difficult to be a real estate agent without having a sense of humor. So, but it is, this is selling real estate is so easy. It's like juggling cats while riding a unicycle on a high wire over a shark infested moat. That is exactly what real estate is like on any given day. I'm sure that you can relate to that and agree with me on that one. So this is the mighty balance wheel. This is actually from Tony Robbins. I do not worship Tony Robbins. The pictures are there more for humor, and it's mainly because I stole the wheel from his website and wanted to give him credit. So for whatever that's worth, here's the credit to Tony Robbins for stealing his wheel. So what I do every year, and of course, like we've all done the goal setting, we've all done I don't know if you were on Sharon's call a couple weeks ago, we do the goal setting and it's like we make these big goals for ourselves and they're amazing and wonderful and we have great hope for everything that we're doing. But then when it comes down to the day-to-day grind, it's like, what exactly are we, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like how are we going to fit all of this in? And that's where I have used this method very well for the last probably 10 years to make my life move forward, because there's a lot of parts of our life that we forget about, that we neglect, and a lot of it is just because we're not good at time management or not good at life management. A lot of people don't like using the word life management, but I took a course, and this is called, it was a life book course. And this course it included all the different things that, all the different areas of your life. And it basically allowed me to take a lot of time to sit there and go over every section of my life and go, what do I want that picture to look like? So, in your health and fitness, in your parenting, in your, financial career, whatever it is, what do you want that to look like? And the importance of the wheel, by the way, which I can't make it go backwards, but is that you take that wheel, and if you'd like a copy of the wheel, by the way, I'm going to put my email in the in here. I'm going to put it in here, and you can always email me at beyondthecommission.com. I'm sorry, beyondthecommission@gmail.com. And I will send you these things. Like I'll send you a wheel so that you can print it out and fill it out. So ideally on the wheel, what you would do is you would print it out and you basically rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in all the different areas of your life. So on the wheel, it doesn't have quite as many as on here, but if you print out the wheel, you can see, oh, there, now it's cooperating with me. But you see that we have like physical, you have your business and career, you have your finances, you have your health, you have your family and friends. I highly recommend that you take one of these and you print it out and you go and you shade it in. Like give yourself a score on a scale of 1 to 10. And you will see very quickly how uneven or even your will is. And most people do have some loppy wills that don't roll very well. And so our life doesn't feel very balanced. And so that just gives us a little bit of an oversight and a view of where we're falling short. Because in reality, yes, we do real estate to make money, but we do the real estate. You didn't get into real estate because you're like, hey, I want to be the most amazing realtor in the world. That is not why you got your license. You got your license because you wanted to be more available, or you wanted to make more money for your family. You wanted to spend more time with your family. You wanted more freedom. You wanted more flexibility in your schedule. All the things that we aspired to have before we actually got the real estate license and realized what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Am I right? So this will give you just an idea of what your life balance kind of looks like right now. So again, for the people that just popped in, I did stick my email in the chat. And if you want to email me just real quick and say, hey, can you send me the wheel, and a couple of other things that I'm going to go over in here too. So if you're unbalanced, that is something that you definitely need to work on, is being more balanced. Okay, let's see if it's going to cooperate. Okay, so back to this. So in the life book, it goes over every different section of your life and it gives you ideas of what you would want that to look like. So in goal, at the end of your life, What do you want these things to look like? Or even just for a year or 5 years, it doesn't matter. But it really gives you the opportunity to sit with yourself, because I know that a lot of us don't take the time to even just sit and think. We're so busy. We wake up like our phone is ringing, or we already have text on our phone from our clients, and we're immediately going to put out fires instead of pausing and taking a step back and looking at our lives before we move forward. A lot of people have a really bad habit of doing this. It is not just real estate agents, everybody does it to some extent. But taking that time to pause every single day and go, okay, what does my life look like? Am I going in the right direction? Is this what I want for myself? Or do I need to make some shifts somewhere? It's so important to take that time. I can even remember being at a closing one day, and there was another agent on the other side of the table with a brokerage. And mind you, he has a fairly successful small boutique brokerage. But he said, he's like, when he gets home in the afternoon, if nobody's home, like if his family's not home or if his kids are not home, his wife's not home, he cannot stand to be by himself. So he will go to the neighbors' houses and he will go and find people to talk to because he cannot stand being by himself. And I said, oh my God, like that to me is the best time of the day, is when nobody is home, when it's completely quiet. In fact, I know that in my little post, I said that I wouldn't tell you to wake up at 4 in the morning, because I will never tell anyone to wake up at 4 in the morning. But I do. And it's not because I am some like high functioning robot that needs to work out at 4 in the morning. It's literally so that I can have some peace for like an hour and have my coffee and write in a journal and meditate or whatever it is that I need to do to wake up before the world starts. It is the most magical time. So maybe for you, it's not waking up at 4 in the morning. Maybe it's staying up till 4 in the morning. I'm pretty sure Matt is the vampire. So I'm sure he stays out quite late. I know that he does. Yeah, that's that. Because he wakes up late. And look, it does not matter how you set this up. This is your life. And the idea is to design your life the way that you want to design it. Real estate can work for you in whatever way that you want it to work. And so that is what I work on every year. And in fact, this list right here, my husband and I, about once a year, we take some time out. We'll go to a hotel in another city if we have to, just so that we won't focus on other things, cleaning houses. I'm in an Airbnb right now, like, so we just sit there and focus on each other and focus on these things and the direction that we want to go for the year, so that we both have a map, or at least a vision for, okay, this is where we're going. So when we're making decisions together all throughout the year about anything that might be happening, it's like, okay, there is the North Star. We know what that North Star is in health and fitness, in our intellectual lives, in our all of it, right? It's very important that we do this stuff. So, another very popular meme, and I can only imagine why we have such memes in this industry, right? Okay, so very important again. Okay, so this is a pyramid. Well, and yes, I do like humor, you guys. I really like to make things fun and funny, because otherwise, like, what else are we going to do with ourselves? We have to laugh about our lives, right? Especially in real estate. But the Great Pyramid is basically saying that you have to start with the physical body. Once you can master each area, starting from the bottom and going up, you master them in order. That's how you're supposed to master them. And so the physical body is the number one most important thing. If you're sick, if you're not well, then you can't do the other things that are on there. If you're sick and you don't feel good, your emotions are not going to be there. If you're sick and you don't feel good, your relationships aren't going to be great. So I highly, highly encourage people to do what they have to do to get physical and to work out every day, because that's, to me, it's not just about the way that you look, which also helps. It helps our self-esteem, it helps our confidence and everything else. But the more energy that you have, the more you can produce. So the more physical you are, the more you take care of yourself, the more that you become physically fit, the more that you can physically do, the more you have a mental capacity to do all of that. It gives you more time in the day because you have more energy, you last longer, you can do more, you can think more. And believe me, we have a lot on our plate. Did you know that every person makes about 1,600 decisions every single day? Every single day, whether it's like which way we're going to go on the road, what we're going to cook for dinner, if, how we're going to respond to our spouse. We make about 1,600 decisions a day. And do you know how mentally exhausting that is? And just for the record, we not only have a cap, like say we have a cup of energy for the day and that slowly depletes, but we also have the same when it comes to mental capacity. So if you have been struggling with willpower, the reason you probably are struggling with willpower is because you have so many things on your plate. You have so many decisions to make in the day that cup goes, it gets drained very quickly, just like your energy stores for your body. So it's really important that we keep ourselves physically fit so that everything else, and I tell you, it's like as soon as you start getting physically fit and getting to a very high level of physical fitness, I will promise you, everything in your life tends to start to work out in a better way. It absolutely does. And so the same thing goes with mental capacity. We only have so much mental capacity in a day to make decisions. So if that mental capacity is 1,600 decisions, but you're forced to make 2,500 because we have, clients and kids and this and that, then by the end of the day, you're literally not going to care. So, like, say, as a for instance, that you are trying to diet. Okay. Like, say that you're trying to diet, say that you're trying to get healthy in some kind of a way. By the end of the day, how many people drop off? Like, once you start getting tired at the end of the day, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, how many people quit trying to like eat healthy? And it's because of that. It's because you only have so much capacity for mental strength as well, decision making, and like your willpower. You only have so much in that department too. So keep that in mind for simplicity purposes, because I know that a lot of us like to try to take on so much in our lives because we want to do everything yesterday. We want to like fast forward our lives by 10, 20 years. And the reality is it's not necessarily useful because you're going to wear yourself out. You're going to burn yourself out and you're not going to be able to have the capacity to do everything that you want to do. Does that kind of make sense to some extent? Okay, moving on. And then, okay, so we talked about some of the roles like inside of our life, but inside of our business, when it comes to real estate stuff that we have to do, I love the book Rocket Fuel. If you have not read Rocket Fuel, I absolutely definitely recommend that you read it. It's a short read, it's a small book, but it basically breaks down all of the different elements of a business, and it works across any business including real estate. But it talks about the different roles that we have to play. In other words, we all have to do marketing, we all have to do sales and follow-up calls. We all have to do operations and actual fulfillment of the sales, or like do the listings, do the showings, do the actual process of the sale. And then we have finances in every single business where we have to go and look at our finances and go, okay, where are we going to allocate these funds to keep the wheel going, to keep the marketing going so that we can go, and do more sales so that we can, make more phone calls, et cetera,
Zoom.
right? So those are
Mano,
basically
Zoom.
all the
Aqui.
stuff that, oh, I don't know who's not muted. Oh, well, okay. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay, moving on. So these are some of the things that I have on my schedule every single day. So at 9 a.m., I do marketing and lead gen. So I am marketing for new buyers, new sellers, agents, all of those beautiful, wonderful things. I'm making videos, I'm posting memes. I really like memes. I like being funny. Um, like I said, got to keep a sense of humor in this industry. And then from about 10 to 11, I'm doing lead follow-up. So from all the leads that I have been communicating with, I usually pick about 10 that I need to talk to that day. And by the way, I'm doing all of this and making a list of all of this the night before or at the very end of the day before, so that when I get to my desk on that morning, this is what I'm doing. I know exactly who I'm calling. I know what marketing I'm doing. I know what listings I have to market for that day, all of the things. Then 11 o'clock, I'm negotiating. I'm working on my listings really at 11 o'clock. I'm negotiating with the sellers, like for price reductions, whatever it is that we need to do inside of a listing to get that listing moving and growing. That's what I'm doing. And then about 12, I'm actually doing my pending. So I'm working on moving the files forward to the next step on my pendings, right? And then the rest of the day, because I do normally go on appointments if I have appointments or showings or things like that, although I'm mostly a listing agent at this stage in the game, so I'm not going on as many appointments as I used to. But at that point, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I am switching because I have a whole other business that I'm running. I'm doing short-term rental property management, which I teach a course on, by the way. If anybody's interested in that, you can always email me and ask some questions about that. I'm sure I'll start another one right after the first of the year. But then, so I'm switching gears. And part of the reason is because my capacity in the morning is really good. I have a lot of energy in the morning. So I'm focusing on all these really important things. And the reason that I do marketing first is because it is the one thing that agents will like just let go by the wayside. So if you don't have a schedule of these things that you're doing every day, then you will not have business consistently, period. You cannot fly by the seat of your pants in this industry if you want to keep up and have as many sales as you need to have. It's just not possible. You have to have time allotted for each part of the business every single day. So I do some time blocking. Again, do not have a panic attack. All right. The reason why I'm showing you this is so that you can take this, you can print, but if you want one of these, just again, email me. I put my email address in the chat. I will email you a blank one of these. And what I recommend is that you put your have to do things first, like taking a shower, like commuting to work or bringing your kids to school or picking your kids up from soccer practice or all the things that you have to do that you know that you have to do. And this is the point, this is the time where you can design your life around all of those life areas. If there's things that you want to do, then you need to add it in here. And as a for instance, like I recently started commuting with my kids back and forth to school because I'm so busy and running so many businesses. I was having my husband drive them back and forth to school most days just because it allowed me more time to be able to get a workout in, to be able to do whatever it was that I needed to do, put out fires, all the things, right? But I realized very quickly that the kids, even though I was there in the morning and even though I was there later in the afternoon, were not getting what they needed. So that time while I'm driving in the car is time for me to communicate with them, talk to them, show them some love, have good conversation, give them advice, whatever. So that is an example of like doubling up some things, multitasking a little bit. Another thing that you can do to kind of double up would be like listening to a podcast while you're doing a workout. There are ways to get more than one thing in, but I absolutely recommend the things that you have to do, put in first, your responsibilities, the things that you want to do for yourself. I am really bad at taking care of myself. That is one thing that I'm really bad at. So there are things that I will do to create habits and double things up. Like I finally put a jar of flossers right on the counter in my bathroom so that I see it every morning and so that I'll grab one and carry it with me or bring it in the car. But there are ways that you can set yourself up to double up the things that you're doing. So if you have your flossers in the car, well, then you will floss your teeth whenever maybe you haven't done a good job at doing that before. But then after I do all of my personal stuff and make sure that I am taken care of, my family is taken care of, then I put my office hours in. And that includes marketing, lead generation, following up and phone calls, doing my, working on my listings, working on my pendings, and then afternoon appointments or switching gears so that I can work on some of my other businesses during that time. But there is space for you to put your life goal tasks in here. So, like, once you kind of make a decision about some of the things that you need to be changing in your life, you can come up with the tasks that you need to do in order to move those things forward. And you just have to find time in here, just like you have a budget for your, with money, you have a budget for time as well. And let me kind of keep moving on because there's definitely different ways to do this. And you can see how this can be set up that works well for you. I do not recommend the thing on the left where you are basically planning yourself out every 30 minutes. This will drive you absolutely bonkers. It's worse than multitasking, it's too much. Time blocking is absolutely the way to go. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this too. So the one on the right kind of shows how I have my days set up. So by 9 a.m., I'm doing marketing. 11 o'clock, I am doing, follow-ups and phone calls. 12 o'clock, I'm working on my listings. I'm sorry, 11 o'clock, I'm working on listings. 12 o'clock, I'm working on buyers. And then in the afternoon, I'm either going on appointments or switching gears to my other businesses. But then I swap that. So, like, and this is just an example, but like I start on Monday, Wednesday, Friday doing my real estate related stuff, doing my marketing, my lead gen, my follow up, and all that. But then on the next day, I'll swap and I'll work on my short term rental management first and then work on some real estate in the afternoon. The reason that I do that is because my energy in the morning is so much better than my energy in the afternoon. So it's something that I just kind of figured out for myself. Well, if Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I am working on real estate first, I noticed whenever I was doing it every week, every day of the week that way, if I was getting exhausted by the end of the day, there were a lot of things for the short-term rental management company that were falling off. Or if a lot of those tasks ended up lasting longer, then there were a lot of things that were falling off. So I swap. So now Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I start my day with real estate and I end my day with my short term rental management company. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am starting my days working on the same types of things for the short term rental management company and working more on the real estate in the afternoon. That way, my energy is evenly distributed, if that makes sense. And then there's another way that you can do it that might like, look, I am so ADD that if I don't have a plan, a list, and a schedule that I can follow every day so that it becomes a natural habit, then I am absolute chaos. So this is why I had to do this stuff to make it happen. Let's see if that will let me. There we go. So this is another way that you can do it. You can theme your days. So like Monday could be completely focused on marketing if you want to. Tuesdays could be completely focused on lead generation. Wednesdays could be completely focused on your listings, on inputting listings, on price reductions, on all things that. Thursdays could be focused on all of your pendings, and Fridays could be focused on appointments. That is just one way to consider working that out, or at least maybe for half of the day, you're focused on marketing for half of the day, and then the rest you're doing all the stuff. Because I know with real estate, it's very difficult to just be like, oh, I'm going to do all my appointments on Friday. Like, we all know how realistic that is. I mean, if you can pull that off, more power to you. But we all know that real estate does require some of our time doing different tasks every day. But if you can make this at least your focus for the day so that you know what you need to be doing and all of the areas of your business are getting touched, then you know that you'll consistently have business throughout the month, throughout the year, and you won't have these dips in your business, because that is the biggest problem that I see with agents is like they'll get a buyer, they'll do some marketing, they'll get a buyer or a seller, they'll go all in because they want to, give them full service and be the best agent. Great. But then whenever that transaction is done, they have to start all over. So, how long does that transaction take? How long are you showing houses? 45 days, 60 days, I don't know. And or even with a listing, which is even longer right now. So you cannot do it that way. And I see that a lot. I don't know why maybe people just kind of get overwhelmed. But if it's scheduled like this and you know that it's going to get done, then it will absolutely get touched. Every area of your business will get touched and it will keep it moving forward and keep your leads consistent, keep your sales consistent all throughout the year. Okay, so we're going to start moving into some of the tips, some of the things that I do, just to give you some ideas on how to help yourself get through this next year with all of your fabulous goals that you made for yourself, because I really do want to see everybody do well. And I feel like people just get stuck and don't know what to do. You have my email now, so you can always reach out and be like, hey, I am stuck. Like, can we chat? Yes, I love helping real estate agents. Like that is one of my favorite things in the world to do is help real estate agents. So please bug me. Please let me help you. I will be your real estate therapist for a day if you need me to. It doesn't matter. Like it's all really fun to me. I enjoy helping. But yeah, so this was one of the biggest problems that I had when I was doing about 75 houses a year was that my phone never stopped ringing to the point where I was losing my mind. I would wake up with text messages, go to sleep with text messages. People would be calling me late at night because something was on fire in their mind. And I really had to pull back a lot because my sanity was going completely out the window. I wasn't spending time with my family. So it's kind of fun because it's like when you get really busy, when you figure out that, and like, oh, great, now I have all this business, but I haven't seen my family in 3 weeks. Then you have to kind of figure that part out too. So it's an ebb and a flow in this business because you start off slow, you figure out how to get busy, and then once you figure out how to get busy, you're like, oh crap, now I got to figure out how to manage all that and to have some balance instead of being complete, just working 24/7, which is what happens to a lot of us, right? So that's when I started implementing some of these things. So definitely create office hours. At some point, I had to create office hours. It is on my cell phone. It is listed too in my if you call my phone number, you're definitely going to get my office hours by all means. And it specifically says that if you're calling me after my office hours, that you'll get a call back the next business day. That has helped me a ton, but it also is listed on my listings too now, so that people have, and it's like, yeah, maybe for a little bit, if there's an agent that you're just communicating for the first time, they don't realize that you may not want to be or want to answer calls on the weekend. And honestly, I'm so busy with everything else going on the weekends that it's almost impossible. And even if I do see a message or a phone call from a realtor, I'm really not going to get to it till Monday, probably. So I just kind of leave all of that for my office hours, and I just make it very clear to everyone, these are my office hours. Obviously, there are some things that happen outside of that, but I just try to, go in with those boundaries like, hey, these are my office hours. So I'm probably not going to respond to you after 6 o'clock at night. My office hours are a little wider. They're like 9 to 6, partially because in the morning and now because I'm commuting with my kids, I want to have time to take a break, meditate, to get a workout in, to get my kids to school, to be able to get myself ready, and then start working. So I actually start working at 9. I don't start working at 8 because I really want to get that extra workout in. And then at the end of the day, I work till about 6. And that's also because when people are getting off of work, that's when they're really starting to call. So I typically end the day at about 6, whether I wanted to or not. That's just kind of how it goes. Like people are calling when they're getting off of work and things like that. So it just works out to work those hours instead of like 8 to 5. And then do not disturb. I definitely, okay. So what I used to do is put my phone on do not disturb. And then I would just have all of my family as the favorites in my phone so that they could still ring through, like family and friends. They could still ring through even if I was on do not disturb. But even that became difficult. So what I've since done that has been probably one of the most magical things that I've ever done is I got a Google Voice number. So now all of, like on the MLS and on Zillow and homes.com, all those different places is the Google Voice number. When the Google Voice number rings my phone, it's the Google Voice number and it says on there Google Voice real estate number. So I know that it's going to be an agent calling, it's going to be a buyer seller calling, like it's specifically related to real estate. So I know if I can answer that call at the time. Same thing goes for my short-term rental property management number. I have a different Google Voice number that rings my phone. When that number rings my phone, it says that it is like our property management company. Like it's somebody, probably a guest calling for an emergency, or maybe they need some information. So I'm able to decipher whether or not now is a good time to answer that call. And like for those guests, they know that we're available from about 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. because it's a little, people are checking in at different times. It's a little wider range and it's not as busy as real estate, believe it or not, like the calls, because we're so automated. Everything is so automated. But the Google Voice number has been the best thing. And so then on Monday morning, it's all in one place. All the text messages, all the phone calls, it's all in my Google Voice. All I have to do is log into my account and just start responding. I can respond on my keyboard. It's really nice to be able to do that and to be able to separate that. Because even the do not disturb for a long time was not enough to separate it for me. I was still getting the texts, I was still getting the calls, and it was like I don't know about y'all, but it's like if I have the little red dot on anything on my phone, I'm like, oh, I can't leave it there. I gotta. So it was like I was going to check the messages even if I didn't want to. But now, and like you don't, whenever you're getting all the text messages, you're going through them and seeing all these text messages from people or friends and family and agents, and it was all in one. Now it's separated. And so it just makes it very easy for me to separate all of that stuff. It's been fantastic. Turn off the notification. I'm like, I say this to people a lot. It's like whenever they're like, oh, I tried to call you. It's like, yeah, I haven't had my ringer on since like 1999. True story. But it's also like you can also turn off those little red dots. Like if you go into your setting on the phone, you can make all of that disappear. Like you can turn all of it off. You can even turn off the red dots so you don't even know that it's on. Whenever there's different settings on your phone too, if you start playing with it, yeah, you have do not disturb, but you also have like work, you have like after hours. And my after hours, what it does, I cannot see anything when it comes through. So if I pick up my phone and I look at there's no red dot. There's no red dot that says that I have another text message. It says nothing until I specifically click on the text messages and go, oh, look, I have a text. So it on like Saturdays and Sundays, it's really important because if not, then I will like wake up out of bed and want to immediately go to solving problems or to responding to things, and that definitely helps to turn a lot of that off. So I don't mind having that on 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, but after that point I have everything scheduled to shut off. It shuts off on its own. It goes into after hours on its own, so I don't see these things, because if not, then I'll never get the other things done in my life. I will constantly be focused on the real estate and all the text messages and everything else. So these notifications being off are very important for me after hours and on the weekends, so that I'm spending time with family, actually doing stuff at my house. Another thing that I do is like on Saturdays, like I know that's family time and home time. So I will only do that stuff. And then on Sundays, it's like our short-term rental management business that's our busiest days because that's when everybody is checking out. So then I'll make myself available for that on those days and like restocking things and stuff like that. But it's easy for me in my brain to go, okay, well, today's Saturday. I'm not answering these real estate calls. Like right now it's home time, it's family time, and it's not that time. So when I designate a day or an hour, like a time block of time where it's like, nope, I can't do that right now. And then you get in the habit of doing that. It works out really, really well for me, at least. And then always set a timer for your task. I have to set a timer for like my time blocking. So whenever, like come 9 o'clock in the morning, when it's time for me to do marketing, I'm setting a timer for an hour. Not only does it keep me on task and keep me on track of my time every day, but it also makes me go faster because I'm like, oh, I got an hour, let's go. And so I'm a lot more focused. It definitely helps me to focus because I am and look, I say I'm ADD. I wasn't ADD when I was a kid. I will tell you that ADD can come as an adult. And I believe it's because we put so much on ourselves and our brains are going so many different directions that is what's creating that ADD. So, but I will squirrel off and do something else if I don't have the time blocked, focus, the timer set, and all that. I will absolutely squirrel. So that timer makes a big difference for me. Because I know there's a start and a stop time, and then I have to move on to the next thing. So I will obviously try to get as much done as I can during that time. And then the 80/20 rule, I try to delegate, outsource, automate every single thing that I can. Because, like many of you have certainly heard about, anytime that you wanted to sell a business, if you are the main person that's doing everything in a business, then how would you sell it? Like, because if you go to sell, like if I go to sell my short-term rental property management company as a, for instance, to someone else, but I'm the main person, I'm doing everything. Let's just say I'm cleaning all the houses, da, da, da. How would I sell that? Because the person that's buying that needs to have something that's automatically running. That's what people want to buy whenever they're buying a business. They need to buy a business that doesn't require their time, energy, and effort, that they can just kind of manage. So even in the real estate business, we have to learn to automate as much as possible, outsource as much as possible. Yes, I have a TC that handles my paperwork. Even in our short-term rental management company, the majority of our communications are automated. They're automated as soon as we get a request for a booking because, a set of questions goes out to them. Oh, great. Nice to meet you. Who are you? Why are you coming? These kinds of things. That's automated. Um, any like their check-in instructions are automated. We check on them and it's automated. Their checkout instructions are automated. Like everything is automated. And now there's AI. So AI actually communicates with them a good portion of the time. And so all I have to do is turn the AI on and that starts communicating with them. And I know that in real, we're going to have something similar coming very soon as our AI starts to develop, and we're going to have that for as part of our CRM. I'm very excited about this, by the way, because I'm already using it at a high level to take a lot off my plate. During the day, I typically won't do the AI because we have very minimal communications from guests because of our automations already being in place. But at night, the AI takes over. So after 10 o'clock, the AI takes over and it communicates with guests so that we don't have to. And so I only use it for that time because I want to make sure, at least until it gets better at understanding me and knowing what our decisions are, that it's not saying stupid things to guests. Because I don't necessarily know what the AI is going to say all the time. The other night, it told somebody that we were going to call him, and I was in bed. And so the girl's like, okay, sure. Like, here's my number. And then I noticed it and looked at it. I was like, wait a minute. The AI just told her that I'm going to call her. I'm like, okay. Uh, I have no intentions of calling, but anyway, I communicated with the guests. Everything was fine. But yes, there's so much that we can delegate, outsource, and automate. You want to be the person that is pointing the finger, for lack of a better term, rather than the person that's literally doing every single thing. So it's like as your business progresses, you want to be able to delegate and outsource as much as possible. Marketing is a big one, unless that's something that you absolutely love that you can easily outsource. Having a TC, the more that you can outsource, the more that you can focus on just the piece that's yours. And I got a TC before I even needed a TC because I wanted to know, like I wanted to have those funds taken out, and I wanted to start that process so it wouldn't hurt me later when I had to pay one, so that I could spend more time with my family. And there's so many things, y'all. It's not just that. I mean, we definitely order groceries online so that they can be delivered. We have lists that we can just click through. We have so much, like even with our Airbnb business, that is just automated, like products that just come in once a month. Like I don't have to think about that. At some point we were using laundry service, I think because our washer and dryer had gone out. Like anything that you can do like that to take stuff off of your plate. And nowadays, it's almost every single company that offers some kind of automated something, some kind of delivery, some kind of. I don't shop. I do not shop. I mean, the only time that I'm physically going into a store is if I'm setting up a new Airbnb and I'm picking decor and I'm picky about that. That's not something that I can necessarily look at online. And, it's like you order couches from Amazon and they come in and they're like 50% of the size of a normal couch. So, like those types of things, I like to be able to see in person. But other than that, I mean, the majority of our lives are completely outsourced because all of that stuff, housekeeper, that's another great amazing decision that I made. And I mean, she only comes every other week because that's all we really need, but she will do the linens and the deep cleaning and all this stuff that we need to do so that we don't have to do that stuff every day. The more that you can automate in your life, not just in your real estate business, the more time that you have to focus on family and to focus on clients and to let all the other little nitpicky stuff be done by other people that specialize in that thing so that you don't have to. And so I highly recommend as many things as you can automate or delegate or outsource. I mean, it is 2025. You can delegate anything. Like there's an app, there's an Uber for everything these days, literally laundry, groceries. I mean, even the cleaners, like for the Airbnbs, there's companies that are like Turno and stuff like that. If I need a last minute cleaner, I can just basically Uber one because that's what Turno is. It's like the Uber of cleaners. There you can find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And then find free time. I used to drive to meetings a lot. Now I Zoom because, and we do still do some in person just because I like the connection, but we do try to Zoom instead of driving places. I turn off my phone a lot and try to leave it plugged in. I have a home gym. Part of the reason why I have a home gym is because I'm saving myself drive time. The Zooming is saving me drive time. Shoot your TV. Shoot your TV is something that one of my high school professors told me. Um, uh, you might know him, Matt, Cable Tutwiler. He's the one who told me to shoot my television. And ever since then, I have not watched TV. I've never been a fan. And my grandfather was another one that was in my ear about that. I do like movies, of course, but like I don't watch television. I don't keep up with anything. I don't know purposely try not to know what's going on in the world as much as possible in terms of stuff like that. And then meal prepping my food, that and of course Kevin helps with that too because he's super healthy and he likes to keep us healthy. But I used to do it on Sundays for the whole week, so it was ready to go. So there was just no like having to prep that during the week. It saved a lot of time, but it also saved a lot of my decision making, mental capacity, and stuff like that throughout the week. Because the thing that I like the least is having to make decisions because I already have to make so many decisions in a day that I don't want another decision. I don't want to, answer a question about what I want for dinner. I don't care. I'm like, food is fuel. That's all I need is just to be able to take care of myself. And then to stay hyper focused because everything that you do does have a price. It just depends on what you're willing to pay for it. I like to think of it as like we have only so many hours on this planet. And really and truly, it's very limited. So, what are you going to waste it on? So, like, if you're spending time watching TV or doom scrolling when you could be doing literally anything else, you could be taking an online course, you could be, doing a business plan, listening to podcasts that teach you how to be a better speaker, or that, like even Sharon has a free MBA online. Like you could be doing that. There's so many things that you could be doing with your time that are so much better than a lot of the things that we do, like doom scrolling, that can move your life forward and just not leave you with a lot of regret. But staying hyper focused is incredibly important because, I mean, in order to really get to where you want to be, you almost have to be obsessed with what you're doing. You really do. If you can focus on one thing at a time, and like I don't necessarily recommend running a whole bunch of businesses at the same time. Right now, we're kind of down to two main businesses, and even that alone is very distracting to me. Is so that's why I have to do the time blocking the way that I do, so that I have the time to be able to switch gears and focus on those things. Because if I have to go back and forth, I will go absolutely bonkers. So staying focused is so incredibly important for your mental capacity, for your sanity, and just for like actually moving forward in your life. You have to stay focused on like kind of like one thing at a time. And then get in proximity of people that are where you want to be. Don't take advice from people who are not where you want to be. That is like the number one thing. But the other side of that is definitely get in proximity of people who are doing the things that you want, that are where you want to be. If you have health goals and you see somebody that is where you want to be with those health goals, then that's where you want to be hanging out. You want to go to that gym. You want to hang out with that person. You want to spend time with them as much as you can. Same thing in business. If there's somebody that's ahead of you in your business and you want to get to that point, then hang out with them, see their habits, see what they're doing, and sometimes it is hard to hang out with them. But now that we have platforms like this, you can actually get on, say, like Reels University or in our community and hop on Zooms with people that are doing exactly what you want to do, that are already in the place that you want to be 5 years from now, and you just get in proximity of them. You learn from them. You hear about their habits. You hear what they're doing. It is going to help you tremendously. And I know that right before I came to Real, I had actually joined a mastermind and it was in Utah. And most of it was via Zoom. But because I saw other people doing things like 20-year-olds doing things that I was like, oh my gosh, like they're running these big companies. They're making 150,000 a month. And like, I'm significantly older than them. Like, if he can do this, then I can do this. And so, but you pick up these little things and you get to ask questions and you get to move things forward in a direction that you probably wouldn't have before just out of fear. But now that you're around these people, you're seeing them doing, you're seeing how they're doing it, you're seeing their habits, it starts to kind of rub off. You start to get answers to the questions that have been rolling around in your head about how to do things that you haven't been able to figure out. And it's to me, it's just a beautiful thing to be in proximity of people that are where you want to be so that you can learn from them as much as possible. And if you aren't in a position to be around those people, start helping them. Just help them in some way for free for expecting nothing in return. And then you'll get to be in their presence by helping them in some kind of a way. And there's always a way to help people. They always need some kind of help in some department of their life or their business. Meditate. So this is something again that I recommended early on whenever we were talking about this. A lot of people just never take the time to step back and do an overview of your life. So every day it's really important to try to just have some peace, let your mind shut off, or just kind of like think about, okay, what does my day look like? What do I want my day to look like? Am I going in the right direction for my life goals and for the goals that I've made for 2026? Are the decisions I'm making doing that? How did my day go? I planned this schedule, but did it work out? Like, can I tweak it? And I feel like you kind of have to constantly tweak your schedule until you get it just how you want it based on your wake up times, like what the best time is for your body to wake up, your the times that you start to fade off, like probably around 1 o'clock every day. I start to get irritated being on the computer because that's where I spend a lot of my time on the computer in the mornings. And then I'm kind of like, I got to get out of here. And that's whenever I switch gears and go do something else. So I've planned my days around that because I know it's going to happen. So rather than fight it, I just kind of roll with it. And then at the end of the week, I highly recommend either at the end of the week or first thing Monday morning, but Monday morning is chaos. So the end of the week is usually better to spend 90 minutes looking at your business, looking at your life, looking at your goals, what's working, what's not, like, and really just meditating and staying in that and trying to come up with ideas for how to make it better and how to get towards your goals. If something isn't working now, what can you change? What can you shift? Who do you need to be around? Who do you need to call? Like, what's the action steps that you need to take to move yourself from being stuck right here where you are to where you want to be 5 years from now? What is it going to take? What uncomfortable thing do you need to do that needs to go on your action list? And then come Monday morning, you know what you need to do for the week because you've already like gone through it in your head. You've already taken that moment. And when I say 90 minutes and 30 minutes, no phones, no communication, like airplane mode, totally to yourself with a journal, with some meditation music, whatever. But you have to take this time to look at your life. You have to, or you will never move forward from where you are. You'll never sit there and analyze what you're doing and where you are right now and what you need to do to get from point A to point B. Oh, some more memes. I like my real estate memes, guys. I guess I gotta update these. These are getting a little outdated. Um, oh, and yeah, just don't be so damn serious because you really can't create and be creative from a stress state. That is a fact. If you are pissed off, if you're in a bad mood, if you're stressed, you cannot be creative. You cannot come up with ideas. You cannot like all the things that you're meditating about, you're not going to have really great ideas if you're always like in the stress state all the time. And if you are in a stress state all the time, then you definitely need to take that time to step back and look at your life and go, what do I need to do? What do I need to scale back? What can I make simpler? Make a list of the 100 things that are wrong in your life if you want to, and start going down the list and fixing them. Whatever you have to do so that you're not stressed all the time, so that you can come from a state of play, because when you're in a state of play is whenever you're creative. And that is what I love about being able to do the property, like do the short-term rentals. Whenever I get to set them up, I am in my flow state. I love decorating. It is a lot of fun. I mean, it is definitely a creative state for me. It's good. But I also have to be able to turn off the stress of real estate to get that done. I have to be able to time block and be okay with turning off real estate for some time while I'm doing these things. So it's a wild world that we live in. Real estate is a crazy, crazy industry, but you can absolutely be in control of it and be in control of your time with so many different things that you can do these days in, well, almost 2026, because we have the technology is amazing. We can even take some stuff off our plate just using ChatGPT for listing descriptions. And then this is my bonus tip. If you really want to see what you're capable of, I highly recommend doing 75 hard. If you've never done 75 hard before, I know some people are looking at me like, what? So what 75 hard is it's a program. It's very there's an app that you can pay for to do it, but you basically for for 75 days, you'll do one 45-minute workout inside, one 45-minute workout outside. You will meticulously follow a diet plan without cheating. You will not have alcohol or cheat meals during that time. You will drink a gallon of water a day, read 10 pages of a book, and you have to take a picture. And if you miss one day of any of these items, you have to start all over. And that in and of itself, like, especially if you're in a group and you know that if you miss, you're going to have to start all over from scratch, you will be very motivated to not miss a day. This is one of the hardest things that I do. I usually do it about once a year. But the reason that I do it is to prove to myself that I can do whatever I have to do. So if I was in a really bad spot like I was in 2016, this is essentially the same thing that I did. I knew that I had to make 10 phone calls a day. I knew that I had to go on so many appointments a day. And I did not leave the office until I got the shit done. Period. You're all capable. Everybody's capable, but we get lazy. We make excuses. And then what do we have when we do that? We have regret. So if you ever want to try something to prove to yourself that you can make anything happen right now, if you have a big dream, if you have a big goal, even in real estate or life, it doesn't even matter. Say you want to lose 100 pounds. I don't care what the goal is. This will prove to you that you can pull it off. And if you finish this, you will be so proud of yourself, but you will learn so much. Yeah, okay, great. I got abs from it. That's not the point. That was just a bonus, okay? But the grit that I learned, the fact that I figured out that I can pull this off, and that if I had to do it in any other area of my life, in business, with my short-term rentals, if I needed to, if I knew that, okay, like somebody in my family sick. Okay, here's a great example. Somebody in my family sick. The medicine is going to cost $100,000. How am I going to do that? If you want to, you will. You will figure it out. You will figure out the action things that you have to do every day to make that 100 grand. And you will do exactly this if you care about the person that you're trying to do it for. And I promise you, 75 Hard will open your eyes to what you are capable of. So I highly recommend it. I try to do it at least once a year. It whoops my butt back into shape and reminds me that all the stupid excuses that I'm making for myself are bullshit. 100%. So thank you for not falling asleep. If anybody has any questions, you want to pick my brain about stuff that I do, if you have a problem of some kind that you want to talk about right now that we can brainstorm about, I would absolutely love to help you. Just totally unmute yourself, ask a question. I am here at your disposal. Let's see what time it is. Oh, it's 11 o'clock on the money. So if you want to stay and ask a couple questions, cool. If you got to go, totally understand. This was recorded. I will pop it on YouTube at some point today so you can go back and watch it again if you need to. Um, Let me know how I can be of assistance to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you, Tanisa. Thanks for coming. Anybody want to brainstorm? Got any questions? I think everybody's signing out. Everybody's got somewhere to go. So I will see y'all next week.